See, I was gonna film on the iPad, but if you can't tell, my screen protector is covering the camera, so I'm very blurry. And I don't know if it's good quality to be taken seriously in a sense. I don't know. Okay, this is an extreme work in progress. I have a broken lamp behind me and you're propped up on a basket with wires, my Nintendo Switch console, and a hoodie I bought for $5 in a souvenir shop. We're trying here, we're trying, but I want to talk about journaling and how I've recently found myself getting back into it after I had a really big I hate my journal moment. Not even in the sense of like I didn't want to write. I became too much of a perfectionist back in, honestly, I think it was May, and I know what triggered this. Back in May, I went abroad to England, and it truly was the trip of a lifetime. It was for one of my classes, so I was also studying there. We were taking classes and exploring places, and I had purchased a book for the trip that oh, it's my iPad. Hold on. Okay. I had purchased a notebook for the trip that I dedicated completely to that week I was there, and I was very excited to write in it as I was there. And I only really wrote probably about 5 pages, and because it was writing based and creative writing based, it was very scattered, and it helped, first of all, because I did get a lot of story ideas for my own writing pieces. However, it just felt, I just didn't journal, in a sense. I wrote a few things, but to have bought a whole book to dedicate for it, it wasn't enough to take up the book. So I have the book on one of my shelves up there, probably going to be used in a sense. I haven't decided yet. I have some ideas. But ever since May, I felt very, very perfectionist with my journal because I was really excited to make it nice for that trip, and then I didn't, and then I was like, I have to update whatever journal I'm using on this trip that I went on, and the fact that I was already a week delayed in actually updating. A week became a month, then a month became 2 months, and then all of a sudden it was September, and I knew that yeah, it wasn't as realistic. And then I didn't write. I didn't have my little journaling rants in my little, like, I have this, like, one book that I use for everything, just a scattered thoughts book I use for classes, scattered thoughts, I don't know, it just, you kind of just put everything in there. And then I recently found this journal that I purchased in last year for January. So I started writing New Year's Eve of 2024, and I remember I'd stopped writing in it for a second. I think it's because I didn't like the spine, and I was really liking spirals for journals as a spine. And I did have a journal in the spring of 2025 this year that was a spine, and I kind of just used it for everything. So it was my French journal, my everyday journal, my draft journal, my thoughts journal, my classes journal, anything that I needed last semester too. I just kind of brought that book and it was everything. So I finished that one relatively quickly because I brought it everywhere and it was for everything. And I did kind of like that, but there was like a whimsy missing in my writing in my journals, and I feel like at the same time I never let myself be like whimsy in a journal because I get so in my head about organization and how I want my writing to look. And I remember I had this journal when I was like 17, 18 I think it was, and I was writing in it, right, and then I started like putting like random pages in it, and then it really ruined my flow of enjoying writing in the journal because then I couldn't write, I think, because like the dents were in the page, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was just uncomfortable, and then I found myself having writer's block in that journal. So I recently have changed my ways in journaling. I noticed that I like it if I just completely make a mess of the journal just with writing, don't add anything in there, and I write in cursive, so the whole thing is just script, the entire journal, or I leave it as that, because that's what makes me feel like I can rant in peace, and I have that in my little everything everywhere journal. However, I was like, ever since this semester started especially, and the fall season, I've just been really loving the fall of 2025, and I don't want it to end yet, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. I'm trying to savor every single bit of this fall season as much as I can, and I'm sorry, it just makes me really excited because when like you're just having so much fun in this current moment of your life, you know you're going to miss it so much. Last time I felt this way was probably like 2021 fall. That was also 2022 fall was good too. Just fall is just, it's peak every single time. However, found this journal, right, and I was just reading it, my old entries from the beginning of the year, and I was like, wait, I really missed this journal. Like, I wanna start writing in it again, because I started off so strong. Whatever, had my other journal for spring, why not return to my January journal? And with that, I have been finding a new style in my journaling. Okay, so what I have decided on doing that I have been absolutely enjoying so far, and I'm still very fresh in trying it out. So this is like oh my god, what's the word? Is it on here? Oh, like a stationary tools book, where it's like the line pages here, like these pages. Let me just show you. These pages here, and then over here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's like you could rip this, you know. So I caught my eye too, especially since it was like French, and I love French. I just really liked the cover. I was going through everything I wrote, and I think I got a little emotional from what I wrote for New Year's Eve. It was something inspired by Jeff Buckley, which, if anyone knows me, I love Jeff Buckley. I was in such a peak Jeff Buckley, like, I don't want to say phase, because I always love Jeff Buckley, but it was just very strong in the beginning of this year that I had to take a break. It was a lot. I was reading this and I was like, I love when I get straight to the point in my journal. If I have to rant, I'll rant in my like ranting book, but when I'm trying to romanticize my life and I don't want to go through every single detail, but I want to go through the highlights, I could just write a page. I could just write a half a page. Yes, it was last Thursday. I was on the J train, and I was thinking, and I was like, you know, I still haven't written about Halloween, because I had such an amazing Halloween this year, and I had the entry in my head, and I was like, you're gonna talk about this because this was very funny, and you're gonna talk about that. You probably have to mention this part of the night because, you know, you don't want to forget it, but I think you'll remember it's not that important. I kind of don't want to write about it. So if I don't want to write about it, I don't have to. Like, it's not required of me to write about a part of my day that I didn't enjoy. See, the thing with me is that I feel like I have to get so specific. I have to be like, and then I walked 27 and a half steps down the block. We waited approximately 15 seconds before crossing the street. See, that's why I probably started not liking journaling, because I was trying to get so specific, and if I read my journal in 20 years, I don't think I'm gonna care about how long I waited for the light to turn green. You understand? So I have been just trying to get straight to the point, which I've been lacking, because I feel like this video, my debut video about journaling, is gonna be so long. I'm so sorry. I just don't know how to start this stuff yet. But I I don't need to talk about so much, and if something's really bothering me, I'll rant about it in the book that I don't care about ruining. But if I want to romanticize my life, I make it romanticized in some sort of way. And I feel like I was that kind of person for so long that I would lie to my own journal. But who's to say who's to say I can't make this one seem prettier and then the ranting journal tell the truth? You know? Anyway, so I have been inserting little things that have been reminding me of certain entries. This was from Halloween. I found this in the bathroom of the party I was at for Halloween, and I told my friend, I was like, pick it up. I want this for later. And then literally roaming the streets, saw this and was like, it was in the street. This is probably very, 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 very unsanitary. However, it makes the memory worthwhile. And I specifically remember picking up, like, taking these things on Halloween, and I wrote down where I found them, and ever since I did this, it has quite literally spiraled into a series of, like, scrapbooking in a way? I don't know. I still haven't really decided what I want to do with the back yet. I feel like I might just have to, once I run out of pages over here, I will be most likely writing in the back. I'm trying to make sure this journal lasts me till like February possibly, because I want to bring it for somewhere very special in January. I'm kind of just experimenting, and I really, really like the getting straight to the point with the journal. So last week I was on the train and I wrote down just a quick little summary for Halloween. I wrote down my favorite parts, the parts where it was Halloween. I was like, wow, this feels like a movie. And then that's kind of what I want to remember, the most cinematic, beautiful moments of the night. So it took about a page and a half of writing. It was almost like I wrote in inside jokes, in a sense. Like, any stranger reading this wouldn't understand, but if I read this in 10 years, I'd know exactly what I was talking about, because I made up a joke myself. So I don't know if any of that made sense. I think my camera's dying. I don't know. I've been just blabbing. I don't know. Okay, now let's talk about YouTube and everything I'm talking about right now. I've been so busy, and I haven't really been like reading as much as I want to and journaling as much as I want to, but every time I have a second or like the sudden burst of like motivation, I just take it and I'm like, oh my god, let me do this. let me just grab this creative bubble and do it. And especially since I'm working on my own writing and it's just a lot, and I just want to feel at peace, but I feel like I'm never at peace, and that's okay, because I do love being occupied all the time until my body's like, stop. And I'm like, alright, we'll relax, we'll sleep in. But I am very excited to see what I do on this account, and I'm pretty sure, if not already, I'm going to be naming this channel Sunflower Rose Petals, because it's just been this cutesy little name I came up with, I think, a little bit ago, and like, some of my friends call me my full username too sometimes, which I don't mind, because I feel like the sunniest sunflower and like the rosiest rose petal. I don't care if that sounds cheesy, I'm just trying to be more whimsical in my own life, so become your own flower. And I feel like by saying like I've called this channel some sort of flower, it's like a little secret garden, and my name actually isn't on there, so only the most cool, fun girls find this account. And if you are not a girl, but you come in peace, we could definitely appreciate you here, probably. So as things die down and I get less busy, because it's quite it's quite hectic the past month. I was so excited for November. I was gonna be like, I'm gonna read so much, my fall reading list, I'm gonna get so much done. Nope. Nope. I've been reading, I just haven't been finishing the books, because I'm also insane and I read 5,000 books at once, and I'm going to the bookstore tomorrow to get 3 more books, so it is a little bit my fault, but I'm also doing a lot for university and in general, so there's only so much I could finish and construct in some sort of amount of time. But yes, my name is actually Gabriella, if you don't already know that, but this is a sort of Sunflower Rose Petals. I do want to always keep my life private, because I'm not like shy, but I love my little bubble, in this world, and I don't want the wrong people infiltrating it, in a sense. Even, like, the right people, in a way. I just, like, I like keeping my circle small and not many people knowing much about me. But hey, if I want to be a writer one day, you guys gotta know something. But yeah, okay, debut video, debut talking to the camcorder video, journal, whatever. This was kind of fun, I don't know. And then I'll have my little book review videos, and not every single book I will make a video review on, but if there's a lot I want to talk about, then I will. Okay. I hope I don't need to reshoot anything, I think I said enough. But the moral of the story is, don't take journaling too seriously. Have fun with it. If you want to have 2 journals, you can have 2 journals. I have my ranting journal and I have my Let's Romanticize Life journal, because this one is honestly healing me more than my ranting journal. Ranting journal just needs to happen to cope sometimes. I haven't used it in a while though. I think I've been really peaceful. Okay? Okay. Yeah, alright. If anyone sees this, welcome to the garden. Welcome to my garden, the sunflower rose petal garden. And I don't know, happy Thanksgiving. It's in a few days, so. Okay, bye-bye.